all right. Welcome into the Missouri 8-Man Football Show that I do every Thursday morning here on Facebook Live and now being posted to YouTube. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I hope you guys enjoy my podcast here, and make sure you guys enjoy the information I give you here. Of course, this is all me doing just out of the blue, my opinions on today Missouri 8-Man football, and of course on Mondays, the college football in Division I, Tuesdays on the NFL, and Wednesdays on Division II football. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. But first, we're going to the power rankings going on in 8-Man football. This is the ones for the Missouri8mancoaches.com by the rankings team that's not associated with the association at all. So here's what they have for their rankings. They have Stanberry number 1, Sacred Heart number 2, Worth County, Rockport, Mound City for the top 5. North Andrew, Greenfield, East Atchison, King City, and then Chilhowee making their first debut into the top 10, I think, ever for their program. They've really been struggling the last few years, but they're 5-2. They just knocked off Norman Hardin Central. Huge win for Chilhowee. I heard on Twitter that was one of their main goals this year was to beat Norman Hardin Central. That was one of their main goals. They got 5 wins this year, which I think is the total in the last 5 years or 4 years for Chilhowee or something like that. Great turnaround for that program, so I'm really proud of what the Indians down at Chilhowee are doing over there. Of course, King City, they joined 8-Man last year. They're 4-2, and they're in the top 10. Greenfield has joined a few years ago. They're 5-1. If you look at other teams, there's Rockport. They joined about 5 or 6 years ago, and I think these are in their 6th season. They're now doing well. Sacred Heart, they joined 8-Man recently. They're doing well. They knocked off North Andrew earlier this year, so not a whole lot of complaints with this power rankings, but I do have my power rankings, which I do, in my unbiased opinion, think that they are a little bit better and a little more accurate. I think Worth County is the best team in the state. They just beat Pattonsburg last week at home, just took them out, halftime, finished them. Up next, they had North Andrew at home, so we'll see what Worth County can do at home versus North Andrew. Number 2, Sacred Heart. They did beat North Andrew by 40 points, so I'm going to give them a little bit of an edge over Stanberry for that. So I think Sacred Heart's a really good team this year. They just beat Kansas City East. Christian, not a big deal there, but up next they do have Chilhowee. So I want to see how Chilhowee can play with the big dog. So yeah, if that's the case, I also want to see what Stanberry does this week. They go on the road to East Atchison. I want to see what they can do in that GRC 275 conference matchup with the Wolves. I think Stanberry, watching them play this year, I really like Stanberry's offense. I think it's really dynamic with Durbin and Schieber there in the backfield. Some other guys they also give the ball to, but those two are the real bell cows, 1st and 3rd in the state, with Cole being 1st and Trey being 3rd. Tevin Cameron for Worth County is right now 2nd in the state in rushing yards. From what's posted at mo8manfootball.com, you want me to mention your name a little bit and how well they're playing? Definitely have your coaches submit their stats to that. So that way it's the easiest way to have all the stats in one area so you can kind of see how everybody's doing. And there's a few schools that do it. I know Worth County does it, Stanberry, Rockport, Mound City, Greenfield does, East Atchison does a little bit. King City puts their stats in. So we really appreciate you guys putting your stats in right here for this. All right. Now, before I go to my other stuff, I have a couple comments here. Brent Barnett, I want to thank you for commenting. It says Mountain City Rockport could potentially be an 8-0 matchup next week. For that game, I'll actually be at Rockport, Southwood Nottoway Holt for my first look at Rockport in action. This year I saw Mountain City play Northwest Nottoway. I'll see Rockport this week. Based on the stuff, I would say Rockport has the edge in that matchup. I think Rockport's probably going to win the 275 conference, but Mountain City, if they play solid enough, they could play with Rockport. And I think Southwold Nottoway Holt this week, it's which Spartan team shows up. If it's going to be the team versus Stewartsville, they're going to get blown out of the water. If it's the team that showed up versus Mountain City and East Atchison, they get a chance to compete with Rockport. So I think this week's going to depend on which Southwold Nottoway Holt team shows up next week. If Mountain City plays their very best, they can beat Rockport. But I think Rockport right now is the cream of the crop in the 275 conference. I would give them probably a 75 to 80% chance to win the conference in that one. And I also think Rockport in that district has a really good chance to contend with Worth County and Stanberry, possibly for that district title. I think that if there were any other district, I might give Rockport an advantage to win their district, but since they're in District 1, it kind of puts them behind the 8 ball there. I had these MSHSAA standings, which I don't remember. Here we go. This is just the MSHSAA point system that they show for each district. I just kind of put them in order from 1 to 24, like that. Right now they have Sacred Heart, Stanberry, Rockport, Worth County as the top 4 teams, along with Mound City and their Greenfield. This really didn't matter at all. This is kind of the computer rankings, if you will, just the sheer numbers of where they would rank each one of the teams. I just think it's kind of interesting if you kind of look at it through all of those, and then you can kind of see on the next graphic I have here what the average conference and district rank are. As you can see, the Central River Conference actually this year has been the strongest. They do have less teams, so it's one to look at there, but they have been a lot better this year than they have in the past. The teams down south have really set their game up, so we'll see what happens come playoff time. District 1 right now is the strongest. District 4 with Sacred Heart, Greenfield, Chillicothe, Northern Hardin Central are all doing well this year. District 2, that's North Andrew, Mound City, South Nottaway, Holt, Christian, and then District 3 is all the other teams like Bramer, King City, Southwest Livingston, Pattonsburg, and schools like that. I'm going to go through the next 4 districts and just look at the power ranks for each one of the districts. And personally tell you how many teams that each district have a reasonable chance to win state, and actually have a chance. Which ones are true state contenders from each district? I think District 1 has 3 legit district state champion contenders. I would say Worth County right now is my strongest contender. They're my favorite to win state. Rockport, Stanberry right there next to each other. It's hard to judge these two teams because they haven't played any common opponents until after this week when Stanberry will take on East Atchison. But even then, it's one common opponent. A lot of different things happen. I'll give a little better opinion on which one of those two teams I like more after this week. I think Rockport plays some real defense. Their offense is decent, pretty good. I think Stanberry's offense is excellent, but their defense this year is much to be desired. So we'll see what happens. But I think there's 3 legit state contenders in this district with Stanberry, Rockport, and Worth County. District 2, you have this one's 2 at most. It kind of depends on what Mound City does next couple of weeks. What to do next week versus Rockport, if they're a legit state contender or not. North Andrew, I think they can make the Final Four. I think Mound City and North Andrew are 2 teams that can make the Final Four, and depending on who they play, which would be District 1's team, they would make the state. I just don't think any of these teams beat the District 1 team. I don't think Mound City, North Andrew, I don't think they can beat Worth County or Stanberry. Maybe Stanberry, maybe Rockport to make the state. So there's 2 teams that are on the brink of state contention. 2 teams I think they could reasonably make the semifinal. I think Southwest Nottaway Holt's way too inconsistent too. And then Christian, DeKalb, and Platte Valley are not good enough to make any noise when it comes to state rankings, and neither is. I think East Atchison, I think they're decent this year. I think they're in any other district, they'd have a chance. If they were even in District 2, they'd be a little better. But District 1, there's too many good teams ahead of them. Of course, Northwest 9 Albany are not there this year. District 3, I don't think there's any legit state championship contenders in this district. I just don't see it. I think King City makes the semifinal, and they get beat by whoever's in District 4. I don't think this district's very good this year. Livingston, they're not very good this year. They're still a decent team. They're just not great. Pattonsburg, they're a lot better than they have been in the past, but I don't think they're good enough to win state. They might be able to upset King City like they did earlier this year, but we'll see what happens with them. They've started out the year 2-0. They've lost 5 straight games now. They've been on the struggle bus a little bit. And then North Shelby, Stewartsville, and Bramer are not state contenders for me. And finally, District 4. I think this is Sacred Heart's district to win, but Greenfield's also another solid team. So I think those 2 are the only 2 out of this district that could reasonably make some noise later on. I think Chillicothe, Northern Hardin Central, a lot of their wins are against some inferior opponents. So I think what they've done is great this year. They've brought more attention down south. But I think Sacred Heart is the cream of the crop here. And Sacred Heart's going to win this district with Greenfield being their only contender. So my state, if you want to look at this real quick, teams I can see contending for state. I have Worth County as my number 1 contender for state. Probably Sacred Heart number 2. I think those two teams are on a collision course for state right now, with Rockport and Stanberry, the next two top contenders, and then probably Mountain City and King City. Mountain City and North Andrew the next two. So I think I'd have a little more information if King City and North Andrew would have played their first game of the year, but circumstances that are not in anybody's control had that game be a no contest. So kind of heard some of the stuff now. You can kind of see if King City, how good these two teams are, because King City's two losses are to Worth County and Stanberry. North Andrew to Sacred Heart and Worth County. So it's kind of hard to Sacred Heart and Stanberry. So it's kind of hard to tell which one of those two teams is better. But North Andrew, they do have Worth County this week. In my opinion, I think Worth County is going to win that game. We'll look at the scores coming up for this week in 8-man. As of course we have here, we'll start on Thursday tonight. Kansas City School for Death will take on North Shelby. I'll probably take North Shelby in this game because they usually beat schools like that. Probably the GRC game of the week, North Andrew at Worth County. Worth County really hasn't been tested a whole lot this year coming into this game. They did play King City and beat them 80-20 at halftime. And they beat South Molly Holt earlier this year. Was it 56-6 at halftime? They've just been dominant so far this year. Haven't been tested. They get North Andrew at home. Let's see what that defense can do against the likes of Jacob Powelson and Caleb Patterson and company. Lance Strebe also playing well for the Cardinals. But Worth County, they're just so big up front. They're just so big and physical. They're fast in the backfield with McClellan and Cameron. Alarcon is a really good lead blocker. You also can get the ball a little bit there at the fullback position. So I think Worth County, I don't know. I think they beat they beat North Andrew here. North Andrew falls to 3 losses, so we'll see what happens there. Stanberry at East Atchison. That's a GRC 275 conference crossover game. This game kind of interests me because you don't know how these teams are going to match up with each other, but I think Stanberry's a little too physical for East Atchison. I think Stanberry ends up winning this one by a reasonable margin. With that running game, it'd be hard to stop. This could be like the games Stanberry had earlier this year versus King City and Pattonsburg, where it's 90-60. I mean, it really could be. I mean, so we'll see what happens in that one. Platte Valley at Stewartsville. Platte Valley is winless after that loss last week to DeKalb. I'll take Stewartsville in that game. Northwest Nottoway at Southwest Livingston. I'll take the Wildcats, Southwest Livingston. Northwest Nottoway has really struggled this year to have any consistency, so I will take the Wildcats. Rockport at Southwest Nottoway Holt. I'll be calling that game for KNIM, so I won't give an official prediction, but it should be interesting there in Graham to see which Spartan team shows up, and if Rockport, this will be their toughest game of the year so far, in my opinion. I know Stewartsville beat Southwest Nottoway Holt, but I think Southwest Nottoway Holt would have beat Stewartsville 9 times out of 10. They would have played them, so we'll see how Stewartsville matches up against how Rockport matches up against the Spartans of Southwest Nottoway Holt. We have KC East Christian taking on Pattonsburg, and Pattonsburg gets back on the winning ways and beats KC East. Next, we have Northern Hardin Central hosting Osceola. Osceola in their first year of 8-man struggled a bit this year, so I think Northern Hardin Central gets back on the winning ways too, and they improved to 6-2 on the year. DeKalb at Mountain City. Mountain City's going to take care of that one. DeKalb did get their first win last year. They went winless the year. They had their first win of the year last week, and I think DeKalb's going to lose this week though. Nice job by DeKalb to get their first win in a couple years. So good job that 68-62 thriller versus Platte Valley. Good job to the Tigers. Now it's Colony Crest out of Kansas taking on Greenfield. Greenfield's going to smoke them. Greenfield also scored 102 points last week against Northwest Hughesville. A little bit overkill for me. I don't know. I don't know the situation there. If it was just they were running the regular plays and Northwest Hughesville couldn't stop them, or if they were just trying to run the score up. I know it was 96-0 at halftime. They played the second half because they don't do mercy rule for some reason down south. I know that was up north. That game would be called at halftime right away. So we'll see. I don't know what the situation was behind that game. It's a little bit of an overkill to me, but I think they're going to beat Colony Crest this week as well. Sacred Heart at Chillicothe, top 10 matchup. I think Sacred Heart takes care of that one. They've been rolling this year. They even 45. They took care of Greenfield pretty easily, and Greenfield took care of this team. I think Chillicothe has a lot of confidence coming in this game, but I think Sacred Heart and the Gremlins are going to take this one over the Indians. Christian at Brahma. This is an interesting matchup. Two teams that have underachieved this year, but I think Central Christian's starting to figure some stuff out. They're always better at the end of the year than they are at the beginning of the year. So I will take the St. Joe Christian Lions in this one over Bramer. And then King City at Albany. King City should take care of this one. Albany kind of a young team. They showed some stuff last week versus North Andrew. They played well against North Andrew, just couldn't stop that offense. As I said last week after the game, North Andrew had the ball 9 times, scored all 9 times, had 8 of 9 2-point conversions. So Albany did score a couple times with North Andrew, but it could not stop the Cardinal offense. So there's that. So there's a scoreboard I have for you. Also, a couple more things. I want you guys to follow Mo 8-Man Football on Twitter. They always give you guys all the information you need for scores, standings, district standings, power rankings. They post my rankings. Pretty much anything you need for news for Mo 8-Man, go to that right there. So we will see what happens there. Of course, my Twitter account is at Devin Albertson. If you want to follow me there, I will post this video also to YouTube afterwards, to my YouTube channel. That way people can see it better on there. If you're not my friends with me on Facebook, you can definitely view this a little more and be a little more widespread there through YouTube. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning. If anybody has any other questions, I went through my legit state contenders. I think there's 5 of them. So Worth County, Sacred Heart, Rockport, Stanberry, and then probably Mountain City or North Andrew. I don't think both are. Maybe one out of there, so maybe 6. I think 3 districts have a legit state title contender on them. I think King City is the best team in District 3, but that's not saying a whole lot. I think it's a weak district. So that's what I got for you guys. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Britt Barnett for commenting too. I am ready for that Mountain City North Andrew matchup next week. Also next week will be Stanberry at Worth County, which could also decide the GRC. So 2 games next week where conference titles will be on the line with possible undefeated teams playing each other. Because you'd have potentially 8-0 Mountain City at Rockport. It also could be potentially 8-0 as well as Stanberry and Worth County both coming in 8-0 on their matchups if Worth County and Stanberry win this week. So we will see a few undefeated teams next week. Next week we can leave with just 3 undefeated teams in the state going into districts. Because next week's week 9. And that's going to be the end of the regular season. We'll go into playoff football. It should be interesting here. With all the best teams next week getting a bye. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Check out my YouTube channel where I'll be posting this video as well. I also posted the D2 video from yesterday on there. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I really don't have anything else for you guys. I know tomorrow, if you guys will listen to 8-Man Football, I will be in Graham on KNIM 95.9 FM and 1580 AM for the KNIM 8-Man Game of the Week. South Holt Norway Holt hosting Rockport. Rockport number 4 team in the state. South Holt Norway Holt unranked at 3-4. While Rockport's undefeated at 7-0. That's the game I'll be doing tomorrow. Good chance of rain for tomorrow, so we'll see what happens in that game, if that affects that game at all. I'll make sure everyone stays safe for tomorrow night. Be careful driving to and from games in the wet weather. Of course, also tomorrow, tune in to X106. 106.7 FM or KCLXFM.com. Also, tune in radio app for my 2 shows tomorrow morning. One show tomorrow morning with Friday Take from 9 to 10 a.m. with Luke Sanders and Jordan Riley. We'll talk some football, maybe some playoff baseball as well. And then in the afternoon, we'll talk on the weekends. We'll kick off from 2 to 5. Also on KNWT Channel 8. We'll be talking stuff there with myself, Ryan Elliott, Sean Nino, Trevor Mater. Also, Max Moore will join the show later on, as well as Isaiah Swan. So, another 4 hours of radio tomorrow, so I'll be ready for that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I will see everybody when it comes time. Everybody, have a great day.